Okay, this is one of my outside beds, and it's been doing very, very well. And I'll be able to take quite a bit off. Take quite a bit off of this. I can either transplant out of here, or I can begin to eat. What I've got is some nice bok choy, this kind of mixed greens. I'm covering it at night just with a shade cloth. I don't really need to quite yet, but we will pretty quick. So I keep it covered, and that's just a real small bed. This is a much bigger one. This is the 4x12. And again, it's covered as well. You can see the plants just push the cover up. And underneath here, why, I've got a variety of things growing very well. Get off here, dog. Come on. Got some carrots going there. And just have to watch it, make sure it doesn't dry out. This will pretty much grow in through December. And that's when I'll pull those radishes. Hopefully we'll get a pretty good crop of them there. Lots of carrots, just looking real good. I like this shade cloth. It adds about 4 degrees during the day and saves about 4 degrees at night. So what? I don't really have to, on a big volume like this, I leave it shut pretty much, unless it's a really, really hot day. Okay, well, let's go into the greenhouse. Now, I have all my lights on just because it's a cloudy day, and I want to give them as much light as we can. But you can see our kind of mixed greens, mostly lettuce, are doing pretty good. They're about 3 weeks old. And I can transplant, like the Mizuma, I can transplant the Mizuma out of here and make a great big bush, or I can just kind of harvest as they get large. So I've got a couple of trays of that. This I'm just going to harvest. This is just a real quickie green, just turnips, and I can grow it in about 3 weeks. I can come in there and take all this off and add it in a salad and really zip up a salad. I've got my tomatoes started. This is Tiny Tim. Now the date today is November the 14th, and these Tiny Tims, I'll be transplanting them into the large Jiffy pots pretty quick. On this side, here's my first transplant of bok choy, and I'm going to let this grow. This will be December, and into maybe even into, well, the other ones will be into January. Some more lettuce. I can transplant out of here into Jiffies, or I can let them just grow. You'll notice that these pots are growing in very thin soil. I've got about 1 inch of soil here, so you have to be a little bit careful about them drying out. But they will continue to make a pretty good lettuce, and you can pick off of it or just thin out of there and keep replanting. This is a little bit of a bok choy. It kind of looks a little strange right now, but it'll come out all right. It's toy choy, so it's kind of slow. Here again, I've got just some more little greens that this is bok choy back on this side. I'm going to grow it. This will be probably February by the time I harvest that. And here's the pan I'm taking transplants out. I'm just literally going in with my finger and pulling out a good transplant. I've got a really nice plant to transplant into one of these large Jiffy pots. They really work well. You just pop that little thing down in there, squeeze it off. You're going to hit it with some water, and you've got a really nice transplant. Split the back there, I guess, but it'll pop right back in. And this will grow up to be a pretty good little plant. Toy choy is nice because it doesn't get very big, but it puts out a lot of greens. So you can see that we've really made some progress. I pulled some things out of the garden, some basil, and it's about ready to start using. I've got a couple big basil plants I just kind of chop back and let them come up again. some herbs down here at the bottom that don't need quite as much light. I've got my dill, and I've got some different kinds of parsley coming along. And I'll have outside, I've already got a bunch of cilantro. It likes a little cooler, so as long as we don't get too cold, I'm going to leave the cilantro out till I transplant it in here. The problem with the greenhouse is during the day it's going to get a little warmer than I want. I don't want to give it more than 8 hours of light anyway right now. So the only time I'm turning the lights on are during really kind of a cloudy day. I start my plants off this way. You can see they're just beginning to happen here. This is spinach, and it's just now getting started. My soil temperature is pretty warm. By having this secondary greenhouse over it, kind of nice. This is the size, what I'm looking at, for the Jiffy pots that I'm using. These are the supers. They cost 12 cents a piece in a case of about 500, and they're usable twice in the greenhouse this season because I plant in the top first. Then when I harvest that, I turn it over and plant in the bottom. You can see they're really a big size, nice size. So I've got plenty of roots. I can cut my plant off and turn it upside down, plant on the bottom side, so I can get 2 plantings here in the greenhouse out of it. And when I'm through, I still have some good soil. So they're really nice. They're worth the 12 cents. The little tiny Jiffy pots are much smaller around, and they only get up about an inch or so, and I don't like them as well as I do these. This is just regular compost. You can grow in it just as well. I just happen to like these for some things that will do well. The only thing that won't do well in here is peppers. Don't plant peppers in Jiffy pots. I don't think they like it very well. So that kind of brings you up to date on the very beginning, but the idea is we really want to be able to grow enough greens to make a difference in our diet throughout the winter. Not just to show greens, not just having a few big lettuce plants, not just 1 or 2 trays of greens. You're going to have to grow a lot of trays of greens, or you're going to have to go outside. So I'm going to take you over to the last bed, show you a big bed and how it's coming. This is a little carrot bed that I'm hoping will prosper this winter and give me really baby carrots. I don't really plan on them being more than about an inch or so. It's called ladyfinger. And the big thing is keep your soil warm as long as you can. They prosper in the cool. I'm eventually going to have to cover this with some cloth to give me a few extra degrees of temperature. I've got spinach showing up here, and there's my row of carrots. The carrots are just going to be in there. It's kind of hard to see them, but they're there. Get out of there.